Welcome to the Type 1 in Midlife Podcast. My name is Melissa Slemp, a certified nutritional health coach and the founder and CEO of Abundant Health with Melissa, where I help women with type 1 diabetes to feel more empowered and live their best life despite their diagnosis. Each week, I will bring conversations and strategies from guest experts and my experience living with type 1 for over 40 years now. So if you're a woman ready to redefine how diabetes can look and feel for you, then the Type 1 in Midlife Podcast is the show for you. Hello there. This is the Type 1 in Midlife Podcast, and I am so happy to be here with you. My name is Melissa Slemp, and I am the host. As I shared in my intro, I have been living with type 1 diabetes for over 40 years now, and I turned my pain with this chronic disease into a purpose. And for 7 years ago, when I decided to step away from my corporate job and follow my true passion, it's really when the light really started to fill my heart and my purpose here to really, to not only help myself with this day-to-day of diabetes, but to help others and to pour into you. I went on to study nutritional health coaching and hormone health at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. And again, not only fine-tune my own diabetes care, but to help mentor other women. So now I work one-on-one with clients and also in a group setting, offering both the practical and emotional support women need to live your best life. And a big part of my transformation with this day-to-day is my faith. It's a big part of my own journey. And without the power of God and other people living with diabetes in my life who understand my ability to truly thrive, it would be difficult. So those are two of my big strengths that I lean on. So a community of amazing ladies and other people living with type 1 who get it, right? Who understand what we're going through, all the different stages and feelings, and not only just the carb counting and, how many steps we got in to burn the glucose and what our numbers are when we wake up in the morning. All those things go without saying. But here in this community, in this podcast community, we are going to be really here to support you and women in this stage of our life. Midlife, 40 plus is the general age bracket. But again, it is open to everyone, even men. Men can get some value out of what we are going to share and the stories that we will be just sharing with everybody here. There's going to be value for anybody that needs to hear what we have to say. And beginning in our first episode, which will be next week, you will get to hear from amazing guests. I'm so excited for the men and women that we already have getting ready to record and deliver some amazing stories and tips and advice and the strategies that we can help, just to help serve us both emotionally and practically, and, just to make us feel better as we get up every day with this disease. So many of these guests who also manage type 1 themselves, so they definitely come from that point of view, which is very helpful. And they will bring their stories, they will bring advice, words of wisdom to help empower our listeners. Topics will support women diagnosed with type 1 diabetes around hormonal changes, and these are just a few. The topics I know will expand as time goes on, but things like our hormonal changes after 40, empty nest, our relationships at work, community support, what's on the plate, so food and exercise, our faith and our spiritual wellness. And all this wraps up into really how we feel and how we can manage our disease. Our mindset is so important, and so much more. So these are just the tip of what we are about to dive into. I'm excited to share these conversations with you. And yes, we start here. First episode is next week. And just to recap too, as I was getting ready to record this episode this morning, I had what can be a typical start to a day that only women like yourself that are here listening can relate to. So I wanted to share that with you. And it was, I was getting up, getting ready to go out. I actually had a BSF, which is a Bible Study Fellowship meeting to get to by 9 a.m., which is the East Coast time here, which is where I'm at. And I was starting to trend down with my blood sugar. So about 8 o'clock, my blood sugar was starting to fall. And I was still trying to get ready. And I had just gotten back from walking the dog. So I take him out for a morning walk, which is both good for him and I. And of course, I do wear CGM. So it was beeping, giving me all the signs. And yet I was fumbling around, getting my breakfast ready, because obviously I needed to get that on board before I could get out the door. And that is the most important thing, right? But it is amazing how we can get so caught up with doing what we have to do every day, which is so much a big part of what we are here to do in this show, is just talk about the day to day and what can trip us up and slow us down and just give us an opportunity to kind of reflect on really what's most important. And as I was stumbling through my day, trying to pick out what clothes to wear and trying to get all the, to get my hair ready and, again, to get that breakfast down as I was trying to do all this, I was just feeling a little overwhelmed. And it's amazing how the mind can just take over our ability to even help ourselves. And I know many of you can relate with that. So I managed to just take some time to do that. And so slowly my blood sugar was able to come up. I was in the 70 to 80 range by the time I had half of my chia seed pudding down and starting to digest. And I was starting to feel a little more clarity, which was helpful as I continued to just, throw some clothes on, get ready. And I was a little late getting out the door, as expected. When stuff like this happens that we can't always foresee or prevent or slow down, low blood sugar can kind of just take over that phase of our day, that time of our day. And I was able to get out, and I arrived at my BSF meeting a little late, but you know what? We just have to give ourselves grace with that. Our health and, our blood sugar really does determine how well we not only function and feel and respond to our environment, but the self-talk that we have with that too, because I tend to be a little bit type A, a little bit of a perfectionist, and I want to do the right thing. I'm a people pleaser. I like to be on time for things. But, sometimes we just got to let go of that and just stop, take care of ourselves, and the rest will just have to just flow on its own. So I wanted to share that story. I know that we all have different stories when it comes to low blood sugar episodes and how we were able to kind of navigate through it. And I'm happy I was able to do that with only being just slightly late to my meeting, but that's all good. It's amazing how things do work out. Things flow the way they need to, and that's the most important, right? So we must take care of us, our health first, to better serve others, our job, our meetings, our family, the kids, the dog walks, all those things, right? So, and that is what, this show is here, and that is why I'm here, and that's why our guests are here. They will be here to fill you, our listeners, with more hope and clarity with the day-to-day, managing this disease in a time when feeling supported and understood is very, very much needed. And, we'd also love to hear from you. I will have a website podcast website that you will soon be able to be directed to. And we would love to hear what topics or guests you'd like us to spotlight. We want you to be a part of this community, and the listeners, you are the community. You make up why we're here. Or if you'd like to be a guest, please reach out. And again, you could just simply visit our podcast website to contact us with your ideas. And we look forward to hearing from you. And finally, I want to thank you for listening to the Type 1 in Midlife podcast ahead of time, because you're here listening, you're interested, you know that this is something that your heart is telling you that you need to have in your life. And I hope that what we continue to create for you and the conversations and the strategies that I, the host, and the guests bring to you will continue to will fill you, and to kind of fill that cup, and to kind of maybe fill that void that is missing with what you need, which is love and support. And another thing I would love to ask is if you could please share this show with other ladies that you know need to hear it and to be a part. And it's going to help us grow and reach more women. So you can head over to the iTunes to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Once we get going, I welcome your reviews and your feedback. Love, 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 because that is how we can improve this show and how we can continue to give you more valued conversations. Very, very much appreciated. So we will see you here next week for our very first episode. I'm so excited to get this rolling and to talk with you. Wishing you all health and blessings. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to the Type 1 in Midlife podcast. Head over to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It's very much appreciated. Thank you. And be sure to check us out at abundanthealthwithmelissa.com for our free resources. See you next week.